What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Ashley and Namdi show. We call it the Freedom Soapbox.
We call it, yeah, we do. We call it that.
That's the Freedom
That's what we
Soapbox.
call it.
What does that even mean? So, why did we call it Freedom Soapbox?
I think we call it Freedom Soapbox because that has something to do with being free to speak your mind.
What does your shirt say?
Oh. My shirt says Sevilla.
What does that mean?
Seville.
Civil?
Seville, Spain.
Oh,
Remember when I went to Seville, Spain, and I bought you this shirt as your souvenir?
2 years ago.
That
It
was
fits
3
you better.
years ago.
Mine says, "We ain't black, we ain't white, we're human.
Boom.
Stop fooling around. We're all human beings, one species. Stop fooling around. Wake up." All right. So, Freedom Soapbox. We like to talk about freedom of time, freedom of finances, freedom mentally, spiritual freedom. And this is our soapbox. This is an opportunity for these two amazing, excellent minds, deep thinkers. This dome plus this dome, we come up with the best answers ever. Tune in, so don't miss out. Matter of fact, sorry that the camera is shaking, but subscribe to the channel. Anyway, what's on the headline today?
Okay, so Naomi Osaka was fined $15,000 for not talking to French open media, warned of tourney defaults.
Naomi
So-
Osaka, she's a tennis player, a tennis champion, world tennis champion. She's Japanese,
Right.
and so I think the article, from what I remember, her reason for not giving any more post-game conferences is that it takes a toll on her mental health. What do you think about that?
You know, I feel like, well, I'm surprised actually, because the thing is, I didn't know you had to do that. Like, you had to do
Yeah,
media conference. I didn't know that.
it's
was
written in their contracts.
I didn't know that. I actually thought that they did that because they want more publicity for them. They want to grow their careers.
No,
I thought it was for them, not necessarily because they're being forced. It's in their contract and
No, it's written in
more
their
of-
contracts.
wow.
All pro
I mean, I guess
sports.
that makes sense, obviously, because you're not when you're at that level. I think it's more of like the whole team and your manager, your coach, your like everyone above you. You're not even playing for yourself anymore.
Mhm.
So you're not just like, yeah. So I get that, but yeah.
No, see, but the thing is, I understand they need to talk to media. They need a story. But what I don't like is that they put them through these grueling question sessions. A lot of them are just like questions that are not even related to the sport. They are being barraged. A lot of them are repeated questions. You have like 5 to 6 different people asking you the same thing over and over, and they're trying to trip you up so that you can. At some point, I think Naomi, she said that at some point she feels like she's becoming a parody of herself, and she starts to doubt what she said previously. You know,
Oh man.
imagine when you've answered the same question 10 different times to
Well,
10
you
different
said
people.
it affects her mental health, and if she really believes that it's affecting her mental health, that's going to affect her performance. I mean,
Over time.
I don't think that she should be fined for this. I think that they should come up with a better compromise. Maybe certain questions are not allowed.
I think that if enough artists start exercising their voice on platforms like she did, they will be able to effect change. She's the lone voice
Because
now.
it's not really fair to her.
I like what she's doing with it. She said that I think she's making a donation to mental health awareness and mental health institutions or charity every time she's fined, which is great cause. She's a young mind. This is why young people need to be in leadership. Not that there's anything wrong with old folks, but when I say young minds because they bring fresh ideas. Naomi has only been her claim to fame was just recent, and already she's spearheading innovation and change. This is a problem. This is a situation, a thing that I'm sure a lot of artists, a lot of sports athletes have had a problem with. Even I remember when you remember Beast Mode from from the Seattle Seahawks. He used to play. He's a football player, NFL player. I don't think he
That's why
plays
I don't
anymore.
know anything about Beast Mode.
Anyway,
I don't know if
his real name is Marshawn Lynch, but
Uh-huh.
he got sick and tired of the media that, and he at first he wasn't gonna talk to them, but then they kept finding him, and so he decided, okay, just gonna sit here. You guys are gonna ask me all the kinds of questions you want to ask me, and he's only gonna give them one answers.
I remember.
You remember him?
I remember that.
And he would just tell them, I'm only doing this
Yeah.
so I don't get fined.
Yeah.
Because the contract just requires them to do the conference. It doesn't.
To show up.
Yeah, it doesn't tell them what they have to say. Or so he exercised. He was smart about it, so they couldn't do anything to him. And it was funny, and actually it was its own entertainment. I remember I used to look up on YouTube just to watch his post game interviews for his reactions. But he was trying to highlight a problem.
I don't even think it's just athletes who have this issue. I mean, anyone who's forced to talk to the press for their project or their new show coming up or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, it's. I think it goes beyond just athletes. A lot of celebrities don't like the attention from paparazzi. The media, and when I talk about media, I mean corporate media or media that has an agenda to sell ads or find clickbait titles for ads. That type of media is the media that's frustrating to whether it's the actor, the athletes, or whoever it is. Nobody wants to be asked questions that you're very well aware that it's set up to trip you up. You know, the gotcha questions. No one wants to be involved in that. And a lot of times, the questions they're asking don't seek to know more about the sport or the craft. It's very clear that they're driven. They're asked for a reason. You know, they're ill motivated.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Are
very
you
annoying.
allowed to just go pass? Next? Pass. Okay, I'll answer that question.
You can I see some of them doing it, but you know, at some point, it's kind of like. I think they can also make a claim that you're refusing to answer the question. I don't know. The fact is here. If I was in that situation, I'll stand up
I think
with
you should be
Naomi.
allowed to not answer certain questions. Because it's not just the game, it's your life. So, even if
Exactly.
you have to show up,
See,
at
but-
least you can keep vetoing questions that you're not comfortable with.
See, but the problem is, the employer-employee relationship in this country is still very outdated, very antiquated. A lot of employees don't have power, and they can lose their jobs. The employers can snatch the job, snatch their livelihood away from them at any time for whatever reason. So you find a lot of these athletes, they're very dependent on their employers, the teams, for their livelihood, and they're not going to want to say anything or behave any certain way that will cost them their job. You know what I mean? So because of that, they're having to. A lot of them are having to suffer undue stress, emotional distress, and mental challenge because of some of the actions and the policies of these organizations. What I would like, I mean, it's just a symptom of a larger issue. It goes towards what they call it, workplace laws and employee-employer relationships. These are federal conversations that need to be had in Congress, and laws need to be put in place to protect employees, to pay them a fair wage and not slavery labor, and the slavery wage.
I mean, supposedly there are.
So, but that's a much different issue, different topic. I commend Naomi Osaka for taking the initiative to bring this conversation to the spotlight. A conversation centered around mental illness, mental health, mental stability among athletes. It's a conversation that needs to be had with coming from a place of empathy, a place of uh, a willingness to solve the problem rather than just talk about it and virtue signal, because that's what you find a lot in the media and a lot of politicians. They get on camera and they act like they care, but they're beholden to a lot of these corporations, and their votes reflect their, the will of those corporations that are paying them. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Hey, thank you all for watching this episode of Freedom Soapbox. Tune in next time. If you like this content, keep watching, subscribe to the channel, share it with other people, like it, hit that like button. We'll see you next time. Oh.
Bye.